Riot Civil Unrest attempts to capture exactly what happens in a protest. This includes the often messy and out of control aftermath that can erupt from these incidents. The game does this quite well. However, knowing that these events can get chaotic and unpredictable, how am I supposed to blame a game that's trying to capture exactly those feelings when those feelings make a game less enjoyable? Now, before I get into that, let's cover what the heck you even do in Riot Civil Unrest. So there's several game modes: global, story, versus, and custom. Story mode groups incidents together and lets you play the levels in a row. It also lets you select either side you want, so you can play the same missions as rebels or police. The incidents start small as a protest, and then the levels escalate into more of a riot. It's the mode I started with first. It's easy to jump into. It was nice that they took care of the setup with smart suggestions. This mode plays more like an arcade mode in other games. You can unlock levels by completing the ones before it, but all the levels stand alone. There's only a cutscene between each that builds up any story. Global mode takes you through the same levels from story mode, but you don't get to choose the conflict, which is a bit confusing. You select your side from the start and then keep going as the game gets more difficult. In this mode, you unlock characters and items that change how you play. One character might be more aggressive than another. It also builds your political currency, which can help you in later levels. Honestly, I'm not even sure if this is the main mode. Yeah, it's listed first on the main menu. It's really odd to play the story mode and then come to global only to find the exact same levels. Well, the confusion doesn't stop there because it continues right into custom mode. There's a lot of duplication here, but there's also two new items: spectator and journalist modes. Sorry to say, they don't really offer a lot. Both let you set up a conflict and watch it play out, but in journalist mode, you can take photos. It quickly flashes how much the photo would have made. No idea where that number came from. It's half-baked at best, and both are incredibly boring since you're mostly watching. It's just great when both sides are standing around not doing anything. Also, there's no instructions on how to take a good photo. You can't save the photos, and it still shows the same end screen from other modes. What's the point? Thematically, Riot Civil Unrest is on point. That's something I normally rave about. For example, Mario is about jumping. Jump to hit blocks, jump over gaps, and jump on enemies, and that's obviously working for that Jumpman. You know what I mean. As discussed, Riot Civil Unrest is about protesting and rioting, which can be about occupying an area. Have you heard of Occupy Wall Street before? Those people were standing around and sleeping in a public park, which seems pretty boring to me. Now that's translated to the game, and I did have one level where I told my protesters to sit and then waited out the rest of the time on my cell phone checking Twitter. Not a most enjoyable time. Another way this is shown is how crowds are impossible to control, so it's difficult to control any group in this game. You're never quite sure where they're going to go or for what reason. Shooting smoke into a crowd makes them go in all kinds of directions, but never exactly the one you want. Or trying to make protesters stand in an area is painful, especially if they lose their nerve. Now, there are tools available to help, but it's not perfect, and sometimes I wonder if they're even working. Even the cops aren't that exciting to play. Your goal is to usually push all the protesters into a corner. It feels like they just have to walk forward and hold position. Shooting gas into the crowd isn't as helpful as you might expect, as I kind of already said. They just scatters the people and makes them go behind you, and it's even worse sometimes. Mostly faking a rush on the crowd is enough to push them back. Neither of the opposing teams act as if a human is controlling them. Sometimes they're content to stand around the whole time and let the opposing force do whatever they want, which seems like the exact opposite of what they should be doing. Now, there are a couple parts I do like, though. For example, how you can prepare for a protest. You can select what gear they bring and how protected and angry they are. The more extreme it is, the less people you can expect to show up. That's a neat idea. Also, how they work in that it's not always about the objective. Occupying an area is the goal, but even if you fail that, the police could lose politically, which makes a lot of sense. You can play the protesters in a way to aggravate the police and goad them into attacking you. As always, it's about the politics of the situation. This also keeps you from straight out attacking and killing all the protesters to win the conflict. Overall, they did a great job creating a game about these conflicts. However, Riot Civil Unrest is painful to play, so I'm feeling meh about it. Most of the time, waiting around for something to happen isn't the game I had in mind. The presentation is well done though, which makes this even more difficult to say. It's also difficult to know if I should have started in global mode for a better experience. Although by now, I'm tired of playing the same missions over and over again.